there's the overcapacity of the fishery sector. Now, the fishery scientists will tell you when they do their bioeconomic model that you have your efforts and then you have your resources, and there is a point where they call the MSY, the maximum sustainable yield, on the curve when they do the bioeconomic curve. And when you get to the maximum sustainable yield, it means that if you put in more effort, you are basically now getting into danger zones. It means that from the maximum sustainable yield, any effort you put in to go any further, you are basically losing your resources. The most ideal point to be is maximum economic yield, where your effort and the resources you are getting would be economically sustainable. Now, for the small pelagic, my understanding is that we are way, way beyond the maximum sustainable yield. So it means that we are basically losing our resources. And so we have to find ways and means of reversing and coming back so that we are sustainable.
Right.
I think that's why we are instituting measures like closed season. But it's not enough. Because especially when you are overcapacitated, you probably need...
You've mentioned excess capacity.
Yeah.
So this is about the third time you're mentioning it. And I just want to find out from you, what are the numbers like in terms of the trawlers that, ply our waters? And what should be the limit? What's the right limit or normal limit that we should have in our waters?
From the last fisheries management plan after the World Bank project, we are talking about 9,000 or so canoes. And we have close to 15,000. We are talking about, at the time we had about...
We have close to 15,000
instead
of 9,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time we had over 100 trawlers. The proposition was, I think, 45, but we agreed to some 70, 74. So we have about 74 trawlers. Interestingly, the trawlers are becoming stressed. So a number of them are not fishing. And so we have those numbers, but not all of them are fishing. But you have a large number of canoes that are currently fishing. Now, the challenge is, because we still run an open access, and people can walk into the canoe. Today I can get up and go and buy wood, carve it, get my equipment, put it on and then start fishing.
Right.
Now, if you run a system like that and you put in very little regulation, you continue to increase your capacity. And I have said it on a number of occasions that you need a proper government policy and government intervention to be able to deal with the excess capacity.
Who's supposed to be regulating this particular industry? Is it the Fisheries Commission?
It's the Fisheries Commission and the Ministry. But you need a clear policy on how to reduce the capacity. Because these are livelihood issues.
Right.
And so you can't just get up and say, okay, I'm taking 20 canoes out of the system. Whose canoe are you taking? You need a gradual approach to deal with the issue. And one of it is to reduce capacity. And I think on your show the last time, I said it, that institute a policy on pension for old age people in the system, so they can rely on their pension. So why subsidize premiums so much when you could probably use part of the subsidy to institute a policy on pension to retire old age people? And then institute a specific educational policy that will take younger people out. And so you'll be left with some people in the middle. And whilst they move out, they retire onto the pension scheme. And so they don't get back into the industry. And when these younger ones get new vocation, they will also move out. So you begin to thin the industry. And when you thin the industry, it means that you will reduce capacity.
Right.
Because if I am alone, if I have 3 children and I decide that we are all fishermen and they go into the fish, and each of them have 5 children and we have 1 canoe, it may be too small for us.
Right.
So we may need 2. Another family may need 2. Some other family may need 2. So you keep increasing the capacity. But if you provide the children with education and alternatives, you may not have to bring all of them back into the industry. And so you will not rapidly increase capacity. And you need a clear government policy that is able to say we are committing resources into reducing capacity. If that happens, it's not an immediate term, but going into the future, you begin to reduce capacity.